Hello everybody, and welcome to what is probably going to be a very quick video actually, because in today's discussion we are going to be looking at why the PlayStation 4 generation of Dynasty Warriors was so disappointing, underwhelming, bad. I don't want to say it's shit because it feels like I'm just kind of dunking on that generation, but I mean, hey man, like we just gotta call a spade, you know? So during the PlayStation 4 era of, I guess, Dynasty Warriors, there was basically like 4 main entries that came out. Now we are looking at Dynasty Warriors 8 Extreme Legends Complete Edition. So that was a really great start. That was, you know, a port of the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 title with the Extreme Legends expansion included. It's just, you know, it's just got everything in there. And I'd say that a lot of fans point to this game as being, well, the peak of the Dynasty Warriors series, or where Koei had really just nailed absolutely everything. Maybe, you know, some elements like the storytelling or whatever might have been better in 7 or whatever, but, you know, that's neither here or there. It's a really, really high bar that Koei has set for the series. Then after that, we got Dynasty Warriors 8 Empires. I believe that came out in 2015, and that was on multiple... I believe that was also previous gen as well, but let's just call it this gen. Let's call it PlayStation 4 era. And that was really great. It was a really comprehensive Empires game. So that was awesome. That was really cool. Then we had Dynasty Warriors 9. Well, I mean, we did get Dynasty Warriors God Seekers, but does anyone know what that game is? I mean, I've got it in my library, but I still technically haven't played it yet. I think it's like a turn-based spin-off, so it's not really a Muso game. But the main issue or discourse around the PlayStation 4 generation is, I'd say it's twofold. So we've essentially got one main new title release for the whole generation, which was Dynasty Warriors 9, and essentially like the quality that came with that, or arguably lack thereof. So let's talk about it basically. I will throw this in here as a little bit of a caveat. I'm not going to do the PlayStation 5 generational era just because the PlayStation 5 console generation technically hasn't finished yet. We don't know what else we're going to be getting for the rest of this console generation, and because of the RAM shortage and all that stuff that is looming in the background of the gaming hemisphere, we don't know how long this generation is going to last for. But I will also say that there was technically a cross-gen arrival of Dynasty Warriors 9 Empires. I'm not going to speak about it too much, but because it was technically released during the PlayStation 5 console era, I probably won't really include it here, but maybe one day I'll talk about it. I mean, I do plan on talking about it and visiting it on its own. However, I'm just not going to include it in the PlayStation 4 generation, just because when I think of that game, it came out in 2022. The PlayStation 5 console generation had already been like 2 years old by that point. I think it's like a PlayStation 5 generation game. Just real quick as well, before we get into, I guess, why the console generation of the PlayStation 4 was so disappointing, just a quick reminder that if you were interested in checking out any of our content early and other member benefits, such as members-only content, members-only Discord, access to livestream VODs, emojis, badges next to your names, all of that jazz, check out the link in the description for Koei Collection channel memberships. But alas, let's push on, my friends. So why was this generation so disappointing? So again, I think because there was a scarcity in regards to just new content. We barely received any new Dynasty Warriors games during this era. I mean, Samurai Warriors honestly had a great run during the PlayStation 4 era, and if you guys want to see the Samurai Warriors version of these videos, I've done one on the PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3 era of the Dynasty Warriors series, hence why I'm doing a follow-up with the PlayStation 4 generation. If you'd like to see videos on the Samurai Warriors series, I'd absolutely love to make them. But overall, I would say that we really didn't get many brand new core Dynasty Warriors games. I mean, we basically just got one. Although Dynasty Warriors 8 is amazing, it's a really great title, it was a title that we had already received in 2013. I believe it came out in 2013, and then, you know, the complete edition, which came out 1 year later on the PS4, it was just more or less more of the same, which is fine, but it wasn't really like a new experience, I guess I could say. It was more of just like oh hey, here's a game that everyone loved on the previous generation on the modern hardware. So when fans were clamoring and waiting for Dynasty Warriors 9 to come out, we were all just like, ooh, what is this going to be like? And I think I've said this before, but Dynasty Warriors 9, I think the marketing was massive because in my small town where I grew up, barely anyone I know knew of Dynasty Warriors, but they knew that I was a fucking themed for this series. And even they saw trailers for the whole open world unveiling and all that shit, and they were just like, whoa, Lennon, is this that series that you like? What's the deal here, kind of thing? And it prompted a conversation, and I was just like, holy fuck, this is going to be the next best thing since sliced bread. This is going to be fucking massive. And we all know what happened from there. Yeah, so volume collapse, right? So the PlayStation 2 generation, it got Dynasty Warriors 2, Dynasty Warriors 3, Dynasty Warriors 3 Extreme Legends, Dynasty Warriors 4, 4 Extreme Legends, 4 Empires. It got 5 Extreme Legends, 5 Empires, and so on and so forth. And it actually started getting Samurai Warriors games. So there was just so much content. And of course, games took way less time, way less resources to make back then, and that's understandable. I mean, that's fair enough. So it's not necessarily Koei's fault, I would say, that, you know, we are getting less games over time, because that's just the grim reality of the gaming industry. PlayStation 3 generation, it got Dynasty Warriors 6, Dynasty Warriors 7, Dynasty Warriors 8, obviously the expansions that are related to that as well. And yeah, the PlayStation 4 got Dynasty Warriors 9. Now, I would say that fans were used to getting a new game every, say, 12 to 18 months. Now we're having to get used to getting one new game every console generational cycle now. It feels like, anyway. Hopefully that curse is broken. Hopefully we do get more Dynasty Warriors games. I mean, obviously we are getting the Dynasty Warriors 3 remaster, and hopefully with that comes more remasters and so on and so forth. But yeah, it's been a rough slog. The PlayStation 4 generation was rough. But I think mainly as well what makes it disappointing, so there's the volume issue, but then there's a quality issue, and there's the audience response and reaction to that game. Of course, I know that there are Dynasty Warriors 9 defenders, and there are people who are like, oh, it's not that bad, and like, yeah, that's fair enough. I mean, if it clicks with you and you like it and it's your jam, that's fine. I mean, I love Dynasty Warriors 6. I'm a Dynasty Warriors 6 apologist. I think it's nowhere near as bad as what people have made it out to be. However, I also totally understand if people just don't like that game. It's just, you know, it is a bit different, and everyone's taste is different as well, and that's totally fair. I mean, not to be that guy, but at least with Dynasty Warriors 6, it did feel like a really high quality Dynasty Warriors game in comparison to Dynasty Warriors 9, which Dynasty Warriors 9, to me, you know, not to be a negative Nelly here, but it kind of feels like, say, Halo Campaign Evolved, made on the Unreal Engine 5, that just recently came out. It's just like, yeah, I mean, I guess this technically does feel like Halo, but oof, I don't know if it's that good. Anyway, that's just my opinion. A big complaint about Dynasty Warriors 9, of course, as well, was the fact that Koei was trying to do this whole like 1-for-1 scale map of China, and it's basically just like copied and pasted outposts and castles. Like, I was capturing some footage for an upcoming video, and I was playing as Xiaoba for the Jin storyline, and I was just like, man, fucking Wuzhang Plains is like indistinguishable from literally any other castle or battlefield or just like anywhere else. It's like, yeah, I understand that might have been how it was back then. I don't know, or maybe it's just copied and pasted. I don't know, but yeah, everything just looks the same. It looks empty. It's all just. It's really bizarre because I'm of two minds, because I actually kind of think the world is weirdly beautiful. It's just like, especially when it's like raining or overcast or misty or like anything like that. There's like fog. I'm just like, my God, this is like kind of beautiful. And then you see the castles and you see the outposts and you see just like a cluster of like 200 rocks within just like a circle or something like that. And it's just like, man, this just feels so unoptimized and clunky and like whatever the fuck. And there are elements of that game where it is fun. It can be fun. I gotta calm down. There are elements of the game which are fun. Sure, I'll give you that. But I think the expectation or the bar was set so high with Dynasty Warriors 8. And then with Koei being like, oh, so we're gonna take that experience and then we're just gonna make it open world. I think people were genuinely expecting the gameplay to either feel on par with Dynasty Warriors 8 or better. And because it really wasn't that at all, it was a very stripped down, very different tone to accommodate this open world approach or this different approach. It was just disappointing. And if fans have a certain expectation, it's impossible to meet that, especially if it's like so high. Like, you know, there's expecting the bare minimum, but I don't think at this point people were expecting the bare minimum, because the disappointment that people were feeling from Dynasty Warriors 6, that had been basically like long gone, especially with release of Dynasty Warriors 7, Dynasty Warriors 8, and so on and so forth. The franchise was in a pretty good state. Samurai Warriors 4 and like that whole generation, like people were feeling really good. People were riding high. Not to even mention Warriors Orochi 3 had come out by this point as well. There were a lot of good Koei games, specifically from basically in the early 2010s era. So to go from that, where we were eating really good, to this experience in 2018 is jarring, to say the least. I would say that that's probably the main reason why it was so disappointing. I mean, obviously there were some massive technical performance issues as well upon launch, but on top of that as well, so there is a broader conversation about Koei Tecmo and monetization, or DLC. And I haven't noticed the DLC practices as much with, say, Dynasty Warriors Origins. I know that there was a season pass in Samurai Warriors 5, but I feel like with some of their more recent games, the monetization hasn't been as bad. I mean, you know, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but when it comes to, say, Dynasty Warriors 8 or Dynasty Warriors 9, my god, there are just so many individual pieces of DLC. So I believe Dynasty Warriors 9 actually has like 3 season passes or something like that. But if you go on Steam, I was looking earlier, I believe it's like 159 individual pieces of DLC for Dynasty Warriors 9. You know, obviously that includes a lot of standalone costumes, weapon types, hypothetical scenarios, and like, you know, officer tickets, so on and so forth. And it's just like, holy fuck, man, this is insane. Any stranger who's just coming across that would just be so overwhelming, or just like, whoa, like, wow, this must be a really good game if it's got this much DLC, am I right? Again, I feel like that could be like a whole conversation in and of itself, but I definitely feel like the monetization, especially for this generation, it got insane. I understand that Extreme Legends titles, I guess you can say they're technically like the precursor to DLC. It was before DLC was really a thing. It was the whole like, oh, you're paying for an expansion which comes on a standalone disc, so it's technically its own game, even though it is just an expansion to, you know, expand the original experience that you were having with said Dynasty Warriors or Samurai Warriors game. So I understand that that could be perceived as being like, ooh, that's a bit expensive, but that's like a one-off payment for just one thing, basically. Whereas like DLC started to really creep in over time, especially with costumes, especially with bonus music, bonus scenarios, just like all these different things, DLC weapons and stuff like that. And I also feel like a lot of people within this community are probably a little bit more okay with stuff like that, because, you know, it's just like, hey, let's just like get the most out of these games, or the newer games, it's just like, oh, let's get like older costumes and stuff like that. Like, oh, it'd be cool if we got like the Dynasty Warriors 3 costumes for all of these characters or something like that in Dynasty Warriors 7 or 8 or whatever. And again, like, I'm not going to fault anyone for buying DLC. If people want to buy DLC, that's fine. But it's also just like, holy fuck, that is like, that's a lot of DLC. that's crazy. The optics, man, it's the optics. But yeah, I'd say overall, circling back to my original point, the reason why this generation particularly was disappointing is 1, lack of games, and 2, or B, I can't remember if I said 1 or A, 2 or B, unfortunately, the flagship title that was released during this generation just so happened to be rough. Pretty fucking rough. But yeah, that's it. I mean, pretty straightforward stuff. Again, you're going to be seeing my face a lot more for Awesome August, am I right? And yeah, if there's any particular videos that you'd like to see this month, let me know. I am very excited to be making more content for the Koei Collection channel over the next month. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know your thoughts down below. And yeah, if you'd like to see more content just like this, say about the Samurai Warriors or the Warriors Orochi series, also let me know. Hope you all have a wonderful day, and I might see you tomorrow, who knows?